we mentioned this right before the commercial. Cal Ripken Jr. kind of cleared the way for guys like Jeter and A-Rod and Garciaparra to play the position because he showed that guys of size could actually play that position with expertise. And Cal is nice enough to join us now to talk a little Jeter. And also, Cal's going to talk baseball this postseason, working in the booth at TBS. So, Cal, it's Michael and Don. How you doing?
I still haven't recovered from guys of size.
That's nice, right?
Meant in the nicest way. Tell me your thoughts. I mean, when you think of Derek, Cal, what do you think? I mean, what are your thoughts on Derek?
Wow. I mean, how do you sum up his whole career in just a few comments? When I picture Derek, I picture him in October holding his finger up. And just seeing him play, seeing him perform in the highest pressure situations. Great shortstop, great player, handles himself really well in all situations, and has this innate ability in a game as the action is going to the fastest to kind of see where the plays might go. So I always thought he had eyes in the back of his head. So just a fantastic competitor, fantastic player, and I couldn't be happier that he's going out this way and going out on his terms.
Cal, how surprising is it that he had that kind of longevity and didn't have to move from shortstop?
Well, it's a tribute to his conditioning and how he's kept himself in shape and still has his good legs, still can steal a bag. He was blessed with good first step quickness, and it is amazing. Shortstop's a position that's grinding on you, and sometimes you take that for granted, all the little other things you have to do in the middle of the infield, but it's a long time to play shortstop.
Now, a lot of people are talking about this. We've been talking about it all week. Is Derek going to cry tonight? And I think Derek does not have that in his DNA. Tino Martinez, a good friend of his, doesn't think he's going to cry. Did you cry your final game?
Yeah, I cried when I was making remarks and thinking about your family or your mom. My mom was always a tough one to talk about. And so I suspect if he wants to stay away from that, then stay away from your mom. But being there for Derek Jeter Day, which was just fantastic. He has the ability to he knows his message. He knows what he wants to say. Says it really, really well, and there's not even a crack in his voice. So I would suspect now he probably won't cry. But if he really thought long and hard about all the people that were responsible and helped him, and you start to thank those people, I think he couldn't help but get a little welled up.
Cal, if you were in his shoes, would you play the final 3 games in Boston?
Yes.
Why?
I think it's just it's who you are. You come out and you're a player. To say I'm gonna try to choreograph how I go out, how I'm remembered, is not him. He's a player. He shows up to play. He goes on the road. He's a player that a lot of people on the road want to see. And I think in his mind he would be disappointing, other people. And his job as a baseball player is just to play. So I would be surprised if, say he goes deep tonight in his last at bat. Does he want to end it that way? I don't think he wants to choreograph it. I think he just wants to see what happens.
Now, coming from you, this is going to mean a lot. So many people right now are in the hating mode, especially people that aren't Yankee fans, and they're saying that Jeter's overrated. He was just a passenger on these championship teams. Other shortstops could have won those titles with those Yankee teams. So you're one of the greatest players who ever lived. Is Derek Jeter overrated, or is he a legitimately great player?
I think that with the climate we live in today, that's everybody performs out there in the open, and even away from the field. I think everyone's under scrutiny so much now. So it's impossible to have a 100% approval rating, number one. But, yes, it is true that one player does not make championships. Now, can you substitute another shortstop in and potentially have won championships? Sure, but he was on a good team. He's on a great team. But his performances in the postseason had really pushed them past just being a good team in the regular season and actually being a championship caliber team that wins World Series. So you can make a great case for his ability to perform in those situations where either team could win. And he helped propel the Yankees to a championship, not single-handedly, but his huge contributions and his performance in October was a big reason why they won. So, it's not overrated, but and it's not you're not the best thing ever either, because if you play long enough, people are going to over-exaggerate your value on the top side, and they're going to overstate your negative side as well. So Derek's always been someone that keeps perspective, and I think everyone should keep perspective and thinking about him as a player.
I'm curious, from somebody on the outside looking in, Cal, spending your whole career in Baltimore, did you look at New York City and the guys that played in the city as being under more pressure than maybe other players in other towns?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bigger deal, more media. So just the amount of media, the amount of scrutiny that you're under in New York, just the size of it. It was obvious. No one could know how that feels unless they play in New York. But, yeah, it was obvious to me that they had a whole lot more to deal with than we did.
Now, you and Derek are not only known for being great players, but you seem like you lived your life the right way off the field. How tough is that in this day and age when you are such a star and there's so much stuff available and, there's so many forks in the road where one side of the fork can go the wrong way?
Well, I mean, you don't want to say that everybody has decisions and choices to make in their lives, and so you really don't want to get into that too much. I mean, there's a general sense of right or wrong, and you just try to do the right thing, whatever that is for you. And I think, Derek's always been strong enough to really see and understand the things out there. I mean, the ability to, for example, when you're being interviewed after the game, to sidestep any sort of controversy, it requires you to actually know where the person asking the questions is going to go.
Right.
So if you're aware, and his sense of awareness is really great, then it helps you make better choices. So nobody's perfect, and nobody makes all the right decisions, but certainly Derek has had a good upbringing, and he has the ability to see things and understand them, and therefore many times make the right decisions.
And, Cal, another thing that you share with Derek is being able to spend your whole career with one team. How much more special is that to be able to look back and know it was all with the Orioles and, for him, the Yankees?
Well, it's great. It's good for the team, and it's good for the player. The player has a chance to establish an identity with that team, and it's interchangeable, and it is rare. It's hard. And it seems like it's getting a little harder the more movement that is around the business side of baseball. Players are being traded much more frequently. Money is a factor in many of the decisions. But I think if you ask any player, they would rather play their whole career with one team. Now, I'm jealous of Derek because he did get a chance to play on a good team, and he had multiple chances to go play in the postseason, and he was a big part of that. In my particular case, there was a lot of ups and downs, and there were some rebuilding processes that can be satisfying when you go through them and get to the other side, but while you go through them, it's not a whole lot of fun to go out there and not be able to compete, not be able to win at the level you want to. So I think Derek feels like he's lucky. I felt like I was lucky that if you're able to manage to be stable and put down roots in your community, I think that's what that all players would want.
Cal, before I let you go, do you hold a grudge against Jeffrey Mayer?
No, not at all. If I was a kid out there, I'd have tried to catch the ball too. Now, if you're talking about Richie Garcia, I might hold.
Yeah, there you go.